Alright guys, I put a video up on cheat engine, how to bypass string detection. The video ended up being misunderstood to be as a way to cheat with cheat engine in Roblox. And you can, it's a lot more difficult than other methods out there. So I thought instead I would split it into two videos. I'll make one specifically about bypass detection with cheat engine and what you can do with that, and this one I will make specifically about Roblox. I've had to do some research, learn how to make a GUI and write a few scripts for the game, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. Alright, we're going to start out. All you're going to need is a Roblox Studio to get us going. And in Studio there is a plugin you're going to want to download actually and get. It's called something to Lua. It's GUI to Lua. I think it's GUI to Lua. Yep, GUI to Lua. You're going to want this plugin right here. You're not going to need it right away, but you will need it to finish this. Start out in your starter GUI, and you're going to want to place your screen GUI. It's going to be where your GUI is going to be. We're going to go ahead and place a frame in there. And I'll center the frame and make it a little bigger. Whatever you like, it doesn't matter. Okay, on the frame we're going to set a background color because I like to be colorful. This isn't going to be very pretty, I know, but make it a little transparent. And okay, now inside the frame we'll start adding the stuff that we want to use in our cheat. I know right off that, well, we'll throw a text label in there just to get us going. The text label will be something you could define, a title or a credits or anything you want, doesn't really matter. We're going to call this our little green GUI. Cool, well, that's good. We also want to colorize that background too. Color we're going for. Oh yeah, it's bright, it stands out. It's going to be, what do they want to say? Offensive to your senses. Alright, we're going to add a couple more things. We're going to add a couple buttons. I'm going to need one button first for the teleport. So we'll make this one the one that saves our location. I will double this up, duplicate, and I'll put another one over here. Look good? No. It doesn't matter if they're touching, I guess. Aesthetics, right? Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to need two more buttons because I'm also going to make like a walk speed hack, and we'll duplicate it again because I'm going to make like a jump power one. Okay, now these are the buttons for them. I'm going to actually center these. And I'm going to shrink them down just a bit. I'm actually going to get rid of this one. You'll see why I'm changing it in a moment. You want to center and duplicate. Center. I like it. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add, these are our buttons, but I want to add little boxes that we can enter text. So like enter numbers and anything that. So I'm going to enter first I'm going to do a text box, two of these. Put it over here. Get it to size, make sure we're squared. Okay, and then I'll double that up too. And put it down here. Okay, now this will be the value we enter. This will be the button we push to set it. And now we're going to need something to tell us what we're working with, so I'm going to just enter a few more text. Not boxes, but labels. I want to do it, yeah, let's do it. We'll stick a couple labels in here. I'm actually going to do this again, which you're going to, it's even worse, but I'm not going for pretty. The same way we set everything else, you can set this too. Alright, this button, I'm not even going to bother renaming them. Just going to set the text. There's really no reason to. We'll call this one set XYZ. Call this one return. This one I'll have to rename. All I'm doing is naming these so that way whenever I start telling it where to look for a value, I know the name of it easier. It just makes it a little easier. This we're going to name very simple. This one is walk W speed. And this one will be G power. Pretty easy. These boxes I should set a number on them. I'm going to rename these two just so they'll be easy because we have 3 boxes for the same thing. So walk speed, the button to set it, and then the value of it. And this one's just going to be walk speed value, and the other one will be jump power value. Okay. One other thing I wanted to do, set the text on these. And just to let people know that what we're looking for here is a number. Cool. Now we have our GUI. Now what we'll do is go over to plugins. Oop, actually, because it'll change the structure of where it's at. Actually, just come over here and drag your entire one up to the workspace and drop it. Then from here, make sure you got it selected. Go to plugins and go ahead and convert that over. Once it's over here, I think I should be able to, no, it won't go away, whatever. Alright, now we're in here, we've got to make a couple little changes. The screen GUI's parent's going to be core GUI, so it loads when the screen loads. We're not going to use the z-index because I didn't set z-index values for our frames and I don't want it to load. I want it to load in the order it appears. Alright, a couple other things we want to change. We want to make it so we can move it around, so we'll set the frame. We'll set it to active, and then we would set the frame, make it so we can select it, selectable, and then we'll set the frame so it can be draggable. I gotta be able to spell though. Alright, we got those set. Another little piece of script I'm going to add to this, which I found looking around. It's a pretty easy deal. And this just allows, and you'll be able to find lots of snippets of code that other people have already written. Do not be ashamed to use that. If you understand what it does and how to use it, it is the standard to reuse it. But I'll show you these lines real quick. I'm going to put it underneath the header, we'll call it scripts. Alright, and all this is, it sets a local variable to user input service, and that service is, it calls the game, get service, user input service. Then it says user input service, checks to see if an input's began, it connects a function, checking the input, and if it gets a game processed event. If it is, then the user input checks it to make sure if that user input type is from the keyboard. If it is, then it checks that input key code to see if the key code is an L, because in this I'm using an L. And I actually made a second one with a K to bring it back. And then all it's doing is printing this command, which is useless. But for troubleshooting, I was just making sure my code was being ran when I did it, and I don't need it anymore. If it's true, and this is an L that's pushed, then the frame visibility will go to false. It will disappear off your screen. The K will bring it back onto my screen. I think that's all I'm going to make before I do our first test of it to make sure it works. We'll copy the entire thing. I'm just going to close this because it's very simple to make that GUI. It's not impressive by any means. Oh, I need a game. That's what I need. No. Adopt me. Yeah. Start up Synapse X, that's my decompiler, executor, whatever you want to call it. I'll go ahead and paste the script we just made in there, we'll execute it. Oh, gotta attach it first. Alright, now we have it. It is draggable. The L key does remove it, the K key does bring it back. Now, we didn't. Now we have the GUI completely done. We know it's working as we want. We haven't set no values to these, so now it's time to go and add those in. They're really easy. I like to use a separate pad when I'm making the scripts because they're really short. There's a few different ways you can go about doing this, but I'm going to go the easy route that I know. You can use Dex and you can find in the file structure and find the location of your C-frame. But it's always in the same place, like almost always. And the C-frame is located at game dot players dot local player dot character. And you'll be able to use this for almost all of them. This part right here. As a matter of fact, a lot of people like to set this to, like, let's just say local char. They'll set that equal to this. So anytime they enter local char, it just puts in this part. And the reason they do this is just do it for time. For this purpose, I don't necessarily need it because I know where the local player is. I'm just gonna copy it and reuse it. All right, the character, we're gonna get a humanoid, and you have to spell it right. Root part. That's where your C-frame is gonna be located at. The value of, which is a value. I think it's a vector 3 of a vector 3. I think it's, I'm not exactly sure, but it has all the variables like your X, your Y, your Z, your direction, maybe even your speed. It has several different things in it. Okay, I won't need that. All right, that's just gonna, right there's where our C-frame is. Now we want to set this to a variable still, the C-frame itself. I'm gonna call it my players location. Pretty simple. So now anytime I run this, it should do this. And the way to check it is just to run the player's location and a print. Oh, I shouldn't have done it that way. Get ahead. We'll just print out the value in your player's location after you've saved this value. Should now be saved into this variable, and you're just going to print that variable. If you hit F9 in game, it'll bring up your console all the way at the bottom, all the way down, and then just spam it a few times. And you'll see it holds all these numbers of where you are. There's a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 9 numbers. Alright, so now we have those. We don't need all of them. All we really want is the XYZ, but we can just go player location.x, player location.y, and player location.z just to give us those 3 variables we're looking for. Go down and you will see we only get our X, Y, and Z, which is exactly what we want. So we've already written one of our scripts, the one to set our coordinates. It's pretty simple. We'll just copy this right here. We'll go back over to our script that we were writing. I like to write my scripts in the spots where they go. It's up to you how you do it. It's purely up to you. This is going to be our set XYZ. We know that's text button. So we'll start with using text button dot. Now here we're going to be looking for a mouse button event. So what we're going to do is go mouse button, one click. If that happens, we will connect a function, and that function will, in that real quick, is this. It's that simple. Anytime I press the mouse button on the button set XYZ, I want you to set my C-frame location into player's location. That's that. Done deal. Now, because we have that, we can easily write the next part. If this is where our location is, that's the location value we need to change if we want to change where we are. Where do we want to change it? To a new C-frame, to a new player location. So that's pretty simple too. We'll start here, text button 2, dot. I'm going to go ahead and set up yeah. I think you get what I mean. Alright, now we know we want to take this value here and we want to set that equal to a C-frame, a new one, and then we want to give it coordinates. Well, if you look over here, we already figured that part out too. We only need the X, Y, and the Z to know where we want our player to go, so we can just copy that, come back over to our script, and in this, put in our coordinates we're looking for. Alright, that should be good. Now, the walk speed buttons. Now, alright, normally I would test it right now, but I'm actually not going to because I'm pretty confident that we can just push through this. There's not a lot here. I gotta see the set button. This is a button right here. So this button here, we want to go set button. No, walk speed. Dot. Mouse button, one click. Connect my function. Alright, now this one is almost the same thing. I happen to know that it's game.players. Local player is always going to be your player that you're playing, the local player. You can actually substitute in there a player name, the name of the player you're playing, or the name of the player you're targeting, if you're going to try to make something, a little extra that way. Anyway, dot character, dot, this one's just humanoid for the speed, and then dot walk speed. Right, is this one walk speed? I don't see the name. Oh, set button walk speed. Alright, yep, okay. Now we just want to set this to the value that we want. Now in this case, we want to actually go to the text box. So we're going to go down to the value, walk speed value. Here's where the number is going to be. So we just want this. We wanted to check in the walk speed value text box to get the value to change on our walk speed. Bam. So now that part's done. One more thing we can do is the jump speed. It's going to be the exact same script, except for set button, jump speed, jump power. That should be jump power. Well, it doesn't matter because we do see what we're doing. Okay, mouse button 1, connect, hit that function, in that, and then here we will go game.players.characters.humanoid.jump power equals 2. And then we'll see what we made this. JP value dot text. Copy that and paste. Okay, that's all good. I think we have everything we need to actually run a final check. Alright. Got this video down to about 20 minutes. That's pretty good. It's gonna be a little longer, 'cause I gotta go test it all. Uh-oh. I see that shouldn't be there. Did I do that more than once? No. Alright. If you see there, I had a double colon on the end of my connect, and it's supposed to be on the mouse button. Then I'm connecting. Okay, we have a draggable box. Let's test our stuff. We'll set our location here for our walk speed. Let's go for 167, and this one, I don't know, 230. Hit set on both of those. Make sure I actually click the buttons. And return. And return. Wherever I set it at. Now we'll go to the exit. As you can tell, I am really fast and the jump is crazy. I will set it right here, and now, and anytime you want to go back, boom. There you go. We have a working GUI that can teleport and set your walk speed and your jump speed. And I'm being kidnapped. Ah! And there. Alright guys, I hope it helps. If you have any problems, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'll go ahead and I'll get started on making a strictly cheat engine tutorial that's outside of Roblox or more Roblox or just cheat engine game, string detection bypass, and yep. Alright guys, thanks.